Rainbow and Good Vibes. Let me just hold those up for you. So these are the two sets. This is a 6 die set and the Good Vibes is an 8 die set. Very contemporary and never more pertinent than they are right now. I want you to know we do call them charity dies because if you're in the UK or Europe, £6 or €7 from the sale of each set go to two charities. It's split between the two. That's Action Against Hunger and the Trussell Trust. Now, if you need to know more about the fantastic work these charities are doing, then go to our website. And when you're there, you'll see lots of inspirational makes as well. If you're in the US, $10 from the sale of each of these sets will go to a very, very special charity that's feeding America, the COVID-19 Response Fund. So the work that these charities are doing has never been more important than it is right now. So, without further ado, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you some lovely makes. Now, these were made. I thought, you know, remember that song? I'm going to sing. Andy, are you okay with that? Are you okay? Okay. Andy's okay, he's nodding. Okay. Red and yellow and pink and green, purple and orange and blue. Do you remember that one? Sing a Rainbow, Peggy Lee, I think. Anyway, we're not going red and orange and pink and green, and there's no pink in a rainbow, but there is today, ladies and gentlemen, because I am using some of the wonderful cardstock from our cardstock pack. There are 20 sheets, 20 different colours in the set, and you're getting 4 of each, and I'm using 2 of the wonderful Opulent silver cardstock pack. There are 5 different surfaces in that, and you know what, you guys keep buying it, and I keep running out. I have to beg, borrow and steal to get mine. But anyway, it's very popular and rightly so. It's fantastic. Those are the colours that we're going to be using today. And I'm going to share with you a really, really good hack. This is something that people who've been die cutting have been pulling their hair out for years. But I hope it works for you. So, without further ado, as I said, we've got all these lovely dies. Now let me put these down on the table and I can show you some of the things that I made. Obviously, we've used the circle set and the concentric circle set with these as well. Those are lovely framelits. Then next up, now you can see I haven't put this down, and that's deliberate because with this cardstock, when you move it about, it's gorgeous. It catches the light. So that combines the rainbow and, of course, one of the phrases. Then next up, positive vibes. There you go. So again, the rainbow. This is one of the lovely phrases that we get in there. And last but not least, sending smiles. So you can see with these rainbows, I've cut actually 5 different rainbows. I cut 1 glitter, 1 silver, 1 lilac and 2 shades of pink. So between them you can make 5 rainbows. So there is no waste going on there. So I'll leave those down there. Now, where I'm going to start, I just want to show you how the rainbow cuts first of all, because it is a gorgeous cut as you would expect from Sizzix dies. Now you'll probably notice I'm using very old cutting plates, and there's a reason behind that. Usually we try to get fairly new ones so you guys can see what's happening as we go along, but I'll run that through twice. You don't have to, but it's a habit I've got into for peace of mind. So there we are. That's your main rainbow die, and you can see the 5 lovely pieces there. So you can set those to one side, you can cut your other colours, and you can use all those bits as and when you need them. So that's that. Now, next up, I want to cut our lovely little cloud. Now that comes in 2 parts actually. One is there. The next, let's cut his or her rosy cheeks. So again, we'll pop those onto the platform, wind that through. Lovely, super clean cut as we would expect. Now, next up, I want to share with you the little hack that I was telling you about earlier, because what happens when you use this die? This is the smiley face, which goes, let's pop the eye out, which goes with our cloud. Now, you don't have to use it, which is why it's left out. You get the option. So if I put the smiley face on, and I'm going to keep that in place using some maker's tape. This is Sizzix maker's tape. It's absolutely wonderful. And it means that you don't lose register as you're cutting. Now, we'll wind that through. So that's made our cut, but we've got a problem. It's not a huge problem, it's not an insurmountable problem, but a problem nonetheless. And that is, what happens is that the die makes an impression. Can you see that there? It's kind of made the shape of the die on the outside. Now, we don't really want that, so I'm going to try and get rid of it. And this is a great hack. If you ever die cut anything, and you know how sometimes, oh, he's going back, he's getting my face in, not that you want to see my face, but anyway. But when you die cut, say you want to flip a die over, you want to get the mirror image. Now, they have very different edges. This one is kind of beveled really neatly around the edge. And then when you turn over, it's slightly different, it's rougher. And they look different when you attach them to a project. Now, this, my friends, is the packaging from one of our big dies. It's pretty ubiquitous in terms of packaging. You do get these on a lot of things. And what I've done is I've cut a little piece of that out. Now, I'm going to fold that in half. And this, hopefully, will solve all of my problems. Because what I'm going to do, now, and this is also why I used the old plates, because of course, when we're die cutting, a lot of the marks from the plates transfer onto our die cuts, particularly when we're using Opulent cardstock or pearlized cardstock or anything like that. So we don't want that, we really don't. So what I'm going to do now with this, in between the plastic, I'm going to run that through again. And I'm going to take it through this time twice. And what we'll find is there's just enough pressure provided by the machine to iron out not only the creases, but hopefully that impression left by our die. And because we have it between this plastic, it should be nice and smooth. And there we have it. Now, it hasn't gone completely, it's about 90%, but so much better than it was. Also, the edge is now the same, both front and back. So there you go, we've learned something new today. Fantastic. Now, let's just take some of my, this is my Sizzix Express glue, and I'm going to take the two circles, which are the rosy cheeks for my little fella, or little lass again, whichever you prefer. Now, there we are, that's in place, and that is our lovely, so simple, so cute, it's absolutely glorious. Now, another little technique I want to share with you before we go back to showing you the cards is this one. I'm going to take the phrase which says sending hope and love, and I'm going to place that onto this strip of card and wind it through. Now that will cut the letters. So whether you want the letters or whether you want the aperture, it's entirely up to you how you want to use these, of course. And if you're using one or the other, then save these little letters, because you will use them again. I'll put that down there. I'm going to use the aperture today, but I'm going to take the center out of the D as well, because I'll need that in a moment. Now we'll put our machine to one side, and I'll take my Sizzix multi-tool with the craft knife head, and I'm going to cut roughly parallel to the word sending, like so, and then we'll place it here and parallel with the base. Well, I say roughly parallel, it doesn't really matter in the context of this make, so you don't really need to go measuring and whatnot. And then what I'm going to do is I'll take this and I'll cut a chevron there, and likewise here, and that's made a cute little banner. Now I'll turn this over, and again a little bit of glue here, and there, and I'll put a bit on my cutting mat. So I'm going to take a strip. Oh, it's on the floor, Andy. Keep the people entertained. Oh, there we are. Good save. Thought you were going to burst into song then, Andy. I really did. Now, let's get the center. Remember I said we'll get the center from that D. Pop it into the glue which I put on the mat earlier, and pop it back in there. Then let's take some 3D foam, a bit there, a bit there, and we will attach our lovely cloud, which makes, ladies and gentlemen, the bulk of this card. And you can see we have a die which says smile, so I use the positive or the letters from there, and the negative I just cut the end of the S so it turns it into smiles. Now you'll probably see there's a bit of bling going on around there, and this is from our sequins and beads set. This is the silver set. They came in various colors. You check out the website, they're absolutely gorgeous, from makers of all styles. And there we have it. Now let's take a look at the cards again. So that's that one, that's the one with the sending smiles. And you can see I only cut the 5 rainbows, and I've used different elements of each. And finally, hope and love, which is the second part of the sending die. Remember, it's sending, hope and love. And then finally, better days ahead. And I think that's something that we can all agree with. So that concludes a couple of little tips and tricks there for you. Thank you very much indeed for joining us today. Remember, a lot of the bulk of the money from these dies do go to those great charities. So check out the websites, find out more about the charities, and I thank you in advance for buying these dies. And also, when you've done your makes, when you've got them all there, take a photograph and send them along at #donate-to-make. So share them with us on social media. We would love to see them, and we'll be sending a little love to those out most in need. So thank you very much for joining us today. I'll see you again soon. I've been Pete, he's been Andy.